All right, let's talk some weather. Tuesday, September 9th, and boy, it could not be quieter, as is pretty typical. Once we reach this time of the year, of course, it can be active, but we're starting to get towards that period where we can be dry, where we can be very quiet, still have the heat, but periods of cool. That's exactly what we've had here. And we will have some hot afternoons, but we will have cool nights as well. We got a little bit of everything except for rain. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at our lows overnight tonight. I mentioned our Skywatchers this morning. We had several folks in the 50s once again. Looking at the big map here, not a ton of 50s, but certainly some cooler air, especially across the Ohio Valley. A lot of 40s from southern Missouri, Illinois, all the way through the Ohio River Valley over towards Cincinnati. About 46 degrees early on this morning. So the cool air, it's starting to advance. Low temperatures this morning in the Birmingham market. Some of the coolest air was up in Etowah County and Gadsden and Cherokee County near Center. But we had some scattered 50s even within the metro. So taste of fall. How about that? All right, temperatures here at about 3:30, 83 in Huntsville, 85 in Birmingham, 75 in Tuscaloosa. Some of these sensors might be a bit off here. I don't know why they're showing that. They should not be. I do not believe it is indeed 70 degrees in Gadsden. Again, it's a cool afternoon. I'd say low to mid 80s for most folks. We might not be getting the best sensor data in here at the moment. So, dew points. This is the big deal, okay? So, you take the moisture out of the air. Dry air can heat and cool much more readily. So, if you've ever been to an arid location, desert Southwest, anything that is away from a body of water, a continental air mass, if you have lower dew points, you have bigger swings in temperature. So moisture gone, we can cool efficiently at night, warm efficiently in the day. That's why we'll have 60s, 90s here by the end of the week. And man, 50-degree dew points are so much nicer. Lows tonight, spotty 50s in East Alabama, mid 60s elsewhere, 70s down near Mobile Bay. High temperatures on Wednesday will be in the middle 80s. As we look towards the end of the week, temperatures start to notch up, a little closer to 90 degrees. Not everywhere is going to hit 90, but the potential will be there. And model data tends to sometimes not accurately grasp the dry conditions. Our soil moisture is very limited, and when we have a dry surface, that typically leads to bigger temperature swings than the models would indicate. So I certainly think 90s are possible late in the week. So let's look at this from an upper level standpoint. This is Wednesday, so tomorrow, where do we have our ridge? So these are height levels. If you follow me at all, you know I show the height, the atmospheric, upper pattern at least once a week or so. These height values are far lower than they were about a month ago, and certainly lower than they were in June and July. We still can have high heights, and the higher the 500 millibar level is, the warmer that column of air is beneath. But you're going to notice the number's not as impressive. The color's not as impressive. So while we do have a ridge that's developing in the middle of the country, it's not going to be the same heat wave. Sure, we'll be in the 90s. We're going to have that runaway insane heat that we did in late July. And notice where we are across the southeast in Alabama. We're in this northerly flow. Northerly flow, what does that do? It, just like a squeegee, it acts to push Gulf moisture south rather than into the state. So as long as this high is situated to our west, we are likely to stay dry. Also, under the influence of a northerly wind, that's a continental air mass. Southerly winds bring back the moisture. Northerly winds ensure that we stay cooler and drier. By the end of the week, into the weekend, that high really begins to lose intensity. In fact, the height values really drop to the point where you can't really even see the notable high pressure aloft, but still some relative ridging here over the Great Lakes region, Ohio Valley. By the end of the week, we remain in a northeasterly flow, which again will keep us dry. So late week temperatures, again, we'll have some 90s Friday, 60s Saturday morning, 90s Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning we'll be back in the 60s. You get the idea. We'll have this repetitive forecast here, and rain is omitted from all of this. In fact, this is a look at the 7-day range. So what the Weather Prediction Center looks at is the average over a 7-day period. We're pretty bone dry. You never say never with rain, but it certainly looks like we're going to be dry here as we move forward. And that'll bear watching. No immediate concern here because this is our dry season, but too much of anything can pose a problem. So we'll keep an eye on that. Boy, I don't remember the last time, and I'm sure there's been a time, but the tropics were this quiet. And it is just, dead zone out there. Don't want to wish anything into existence, but it has been very quiet since that one tropical wave absolutely fizzled last week. So hopefully we'll stay that way. We're at the climatological peak of Atlantic hurricane season, right there, knocking on the door. So good to see that we don't have anything of note, and we'll keep a wary eye on it for sure. But quiet weather pattern. Enjoy the cool nights, afternoons, 90s with dew points in the 50s, much more bearable than when we had them in the 70s. So that's your weather forecast discussion for this Tuesday afternoon. Hope you all have a great day.